Hello, you magnanimous, magical magis. Yes. And thank you to Ryan Mercer for the malt mention introducing Ralphie Review 1044 extras. Extra content, extra perspective, extra opinion, extra information, extra entertainment, extra malt moments. And here we have, we're not just one but two. These are two bottles which initially they look very, very similar. And they are very similar, obviously. But there's a difference between the two of them. This is the standard 10-year-old bottling of Bruichladdich. I was about to say Bruichladdich, of Bruichladdich Port Charlotte. Now, Port Charlotte is one of two peated versions of Bruichladdich, the other being Octomore. And it's recently come out from the distillery as a regular release to much acclaim and a lot of newfound fans who are really enjoying the authenticity and the core quality of this heavily peated version of Bruichladdich. It's consistent. It's fairly priced. It's unchill filtered. It's natural colour. It's bottled at 50% alcohol. And on top of all that, there's no condescending, patronising BS coming out from some marketing department designed to insult our intelligence and drive us away as customers. And this is quite refreshing. It makes you warm to a brand, engage and connect to the brand. And this happens with Port Charlotte. I reviewed this back in Ralphie Review 959, back in June 2023. So it's over a year ago, and I've still got the bottle here because I'm in no rush to finish it. And I'm still thoroughly enjoying it, but I've decided to pour a glass now because I want to do a direct side-by-side comparison with this, which is a more special cask edition. So it's designed to be a bit more upmarket. It's higher strength. This is at 50% alcohol. This is 55.2% alcohol. It's the 9-year-old SC01 2012 distillation. 9 years old. And it's a small selection of casks which have been given additional maturation in a small group of better quality ex-wine casks, including French oak barriques. So you've got Sauternes in there, you've got Burgundy in there, and I have to say, it's worked really quite well. However, there is one slight drawback that you need to be aware of. This is retailing for £60 in the UK at the moment. This is averaging out between £110 and £120. So it's roughly twice the price. And you're probably asking yourself, why would I pay twice the price when the original 10-year-old is so good for a whiskey that's a year younger? And it's only 5.2% more alcohol in ABV. Very good question. So seeing as I've got the bottles, I've poured a glass, roughly a little bit extra of this because it's slightly lower alcohol. There's 2 teaspoons in each of these glasses. Now what I'm going to do is use my experience to pass my nose between the 2 glasses and just run your commentary on it. Simple as that. But even before I reach the end of this, my conclusion is, well, actually, I'll leave the conclusion till the end. I'm not going to jump the gun in this. So we'll start with the standard 10-year-old. Now, when I reviewed this, I gave it 90 out of 100. A banger of a mark. Because a really good quality, composed, complex, heavily peated whiskey is becoming less available these days because too many of the heavily peated brand distilleries are owned by corporate multinationals who are compulsory compulsive in their desire to dumb down their brands. It's their nature. They can't even help themselves. And if it gets pointed out to them by an informed customer, they tend to be dismissive, or in some occasions just spit the dummy out the pram and basically just give you some sort of platitude response to any legitimate emails of inquiry as to why their whiskey's not as good as it used to be. Unfortunately, that's what you get. At this point, it's best just to walk away from these brands. Spend your money where your money is appreciated by the person providing the product. Not just for whiskey, but for anything. Know the value of your money. It's taken you time, it's taken you skills, it's taken you bills, it's taken you taxes to get that money. Please be careful how you spend it. Because so many people, unfortunately, are too loose with their spending habits. It's just partly human nature, but they don't stop to think of the cost of wasting money. And not only that, but to waste it on whiskey where you're not even valued and acknowledged as a customer. You're just merely a buying unit. And unfortunately, you're the passive consumer. It's what they call it's so condescending. They call you the consumer, right? That's because that's your role. That's your job, to shut up and consume. It's quite Orwellian, actually, when you're thinking about it. And I'm talking George Orwell, very much a visionary and occultist, who really had a major insight into things, although he got some things wrong. But let's get back to the whiskey now, because I'm starting to drift a little bit. Hey, it's happened before, it'll happen again. It's what you get in the bothy. 10-year-old. A little bit of Scotch mist starting to appear. I really feel now with that little monologue that I've given these whiskies time, extra time to open up and settle down and start to deliver the event that I've invested in. 10-year-old. Mildly citrus, grain citrus, slightly honeyed. Peat. Rounded peat. Nice and slightly smoky. Getting a slight Colilla style of peat, bonfires, outdoors, touch of brine, touch of coastal, a little bit of ozone, very pleasant, very nice. We're really getting a restrained influence of casks here. These casks have a purpose, and the purpose is not to contribute so much to the whiskey as just to tame and tailor the phenolic blast of the single malt to make it more palatable, digestible, and long-living in the glass. Hey, mission accomplished. Good job, Bruch laddie. This is an absolute highlight of modern whiskey making. I cannot understate this. If you like your peat monsters, if you want to invest in peat monsters, I highly recommend you buy a bottle of this. You will not go wrong. And not only that, they're consistent in the quality of what they put out with subsequent batches. In other words, their cask policy is on point. So important we're aware of this and retain our awareness of this. Taste. Very cereal driven. Fresh. Cereal zesty. Honeyed. Vanilla. Intense. Sharp. Gingery. Lots of gingery notes. Green ginger. Sushi ginger. That sort of ginger. And a little bit of chili in the background. So you got a little sort of peppery, sparkly, tangy, salty note as well, particularly in the development and the finish. So there's that glass. So let's move to the more expensive, slightly younger version, in which they give transparency. They tell you that it's in a selection of French wine casks, Sauternes, Burgundy, and this is made using local barley. So what the challenge is that local barley will give more pungency It'll give more intense in the phenolics. It'll give you more sensation in the cereal notes of sour and bitter. That's what you get from local barley. It's just more assertive in that complexity, which is not to everybody's palate, but it certainly is to mine, seeing I'm such an old hack in this game. And there's a presence coming in here, which I really enjoy, of you can see the quality of the French oak from the barriques. I tell you what, I love a good barrique cask, so I do. But what you've got to watch is that it doesn't apply to all wine casks. Because wine, you see, is in cask at 12 to 14, maybe 16% tops. And that's a problem, because as soon as you empty that wine cask to bottle the wine, you've got an empty cask which is rapidly losing its alcoholic strength, which preserves the integrity and freshness of the cask. And soon the bacteria will move in to consume the sugars, the natural grape sugars that are in the wine, because the alcohol is no longer killing off the bacteria and holding it at bay. In other words, when a wine cask goes rancid, which will do quicker than if it was a fortified wine like sherry or Madeira, which is up at 20-22%. So it takes longer for that residual alcohol to disappear, and then, because it's not there, the bacteria can start to grow. And they will sour a cask, and they'll bring in this sickly, stagnant, unpleasant note. What I'm noticing with this, these are all good fresh casks that have been used, particularly the Sauternes ones jumping out at me. Very, very good cask, that, actually. Anyway, enough of that. What's the nose like? It's denser. It's more rounded. It's a year younger, but a lot more proactive cask maturation. You see this. There's more investment, there's more time, there's more cost gone into producing this. This explains the price. In the nose and on the taste, you can understand the extra price, the extra cost of local barley, of sending the barley off of Islay to get peated and skilled to be returned to Islay. You can see the lorry miles involved. I've mentioned that in the last video. It's worth mentioning again, explaining the costs. Production costs can vary significantly, but it's all down to the results. Are the results worth the price? In this instance, absolutely yes. These are two distinctive different whiskies. They have absolutely the same core personality. They have the signature of the Port Charlotte peated vitality, smokiness, fullness of flavour, that slight sootiness, the brininess, the ozone. But they are after that, they become two very different whiskies, simply because this is local barley, this is standard industrial barley, this is several cask maturations, this has been a lot more engineered and cosseted, this less so. You've got fewer casks spending longer to get the whisky together to present the peatiness. This has got an extra dimension to it, that only if you're a peated cask, peated whisky experienced hand, that you're really going to pick out on and understand the greater premiumisation in the cost of this whisky. Is it worth it? In my opinion, yes. Yes, it is. It is very nicely and professionally composed. Sweeter in the palate, sweet and sour, complex, got depth to it, floral notes, a nice sort of almost like toffee, floral toffee note. We're getting that French oak coming through more aggressively and assertively, but mingling in with the peatiness beautifully. This is one that's been nurtured. This is a standard whisky of high quality. This is taking the high quality and nurturing it further. This is what I would hope to find in an independent bottling, but unfortunately independent bottlings of Port Charlotte are few and far between, and they are highly premiumised and really quite expensive for what they are. Here they've done it in-house, an official bottling. The result is something beautiful, something special. I gave this 87 out of 100. That's a very high mark in my last review. This I gave 90 out of 100 from 2 years ago. What would I give it now? My modern mark's 85. So now you can see the direct mark, the malt mark difference is really highly significant between the two. And the thing is, you're not going to notice the difference in quality initially because the phenolics are so powerful. They overwhelm the experience. Initially, it's not until you actually spend time with your nose in the glass and have the patience to persevere with your phenolic forensics that you really start to separate these two whiskies into two very different experiences. And I can understand the premiumization of the special cask version. It is a different creature, completely different creature, although the fundamentals remain the same. What could I compare it with? Right, I would compare it with, for example, a production car. You can go and you can get the basic model, and you want something reliable with a lot of personality. So these days, it's not a Mercedes or these awful BMWs, it's a Skoda or a Toyota Corolla. You know, rock solid, reliable, dependent, consistent cars you can have faith in. This is the sort of brand this. This is the Lexus. If it was a Toyota, it'd be the Lexus. If it was a Skoda, it would be the Pierre Laurent, which is the high spec, superb edition estate. Really a very impressive finish, and you know, if any car is worth the premium these days for the quality of the upscaling of it, it's a Skoda. Totally still underrated, highly reliable, very dependable, and fabulous engineering. And there you go. That's my comparison. One final taste before I call quits in this. I really enjoy reviews. They cheer me up, malt mates. Sometimes I've got a 40% bottle of whiskey in front of me, and I do my best to try and present it fairly, but you sense the disappointment in me, and it's kind of demoralising when I get a few reviews like that, because I can always give a good review to a good whiskey. It's really quite simple and straightforward. All I need is a good whiskey, and here they are. Two good ones, two excellent ones. My night, malt mates, my night has only just started and my night is made. All I need is a third glass, so I can put half and half into the third glass, and then I just flip between the three glasses for the rest of the evening with a glass of soda water. Joy. Absolute heavenly joy. Final comments. The nose has more depth because of the more proactive presence of really good quality wine casks, which have balanced out beautifully. But then again, the job's easier when you've got such a strong signature from phenolic whiskey. Oops, a daisy. This is, spilling it now, dear. I'm getting overexcited. This doesn't usually happen. My malt mention book's taking a soaking. I hope it's not going to smudge my malt mentions. We're fine, we're good to go. It'll dry out. The bothy smells lovely now. This is more earthy. It's more grain-led. But the casks are absolutely competent. And of course, this is one reason for the consistency of this brand, is that it's not relying on the casks. The casks are merely supporting delivering the phenolic signature, which remains consistent from batch to batch, and is just an absolute joy. It's one of the shining stars, actually, of the Scotch whisky firmament. As time goes on, because I've added water, more cereal, more zesty, pineapple, banana, ginger, lots and lots of ginger, pickled ginger, sweet ginger, dried ginger, green ginger, and that nip, that phenolic nip, measured, oily, slightly mineralated, ozone, coal tar, carbolic soap, a little touch of TCP, but nothing like Laphroaig. And absolutely beautiful. And the special cask edition, whole different arrival. Sweet Sauternes grapes. A little bit of almost rosé there coming from a red wine cask. Rose, it comes across as roses. Old-fashioned rugosa roses, heavily mixed with peatiness. Slightly, just a hint of Turkish delight. But then the phenolic starts to reassert itself. But before it does, there's a quality oak here coming in. A complex oak, French oak, Lamazan, Sicile, Eastern European, I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell these days. But it just polishes and burnishes and complements and enhances the signature of this small batch, super small batch edition, designed for the real peathead enthusiasts, and my goodness, it delivers very successfully. All you need to do is not rush it. Give it time. Take it slowly. And you're just going to have... It's not about quantity here. It's about the quality. With both these, they're different qualities. So much in common. And yet you really pick up on what separates them, because you're going between the two glasses. And do you know what? On this positive, lovely, happy little note, I wish you fond adieu and farewell from the Bothy, the Whiskey Bothy at the moment. And thank you for joining me. It's always lovely to see you. If you've had a jam when you've been watching this, good. Keep it quality. And if you've not subscribed, please do. Because I want to keep you up to date. We've got a new season, the autumn season, combination of practical, available, easy to buy single malts and blended malts. We're seeing the blended malts appear now, which offer really good value for the price. And if you get in and buy a bottle before it goes mainstream, before everybody knows, you'll probably get it a little bit cheaper too, because that's the way many shops work these days. I'm Ralphie. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.